The April 28th, 2022 City of Friendswood Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting is now called to order. We will begin this evening by receiving any communication from the public or committee liaisons to the commission. To comply with provisions of the Open Meetings Act, the commission may not deliberate on subjects discussed under this agenda item. However, the commission may direct such subjects be placed on a later regular commission agenda for discussion and or possible action. Is there anyone that would like to speak to the commission this evening? Okay, seeing no one, next is our consent agenda. These items are considered routine or ministerial in nature and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of items unless a commissioner so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Is there a motion to approve the Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting held on April 14th, 2022?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Shows to be unanimous. Next on the agenda are our action items. According to the Planning and Zoning Rules of Procedure R 2021-18, all action of the commission shall be made by an affirmative vote of 4 or more members of the commission present at such meetings. Our first action item is to consider approving the partial preliminary plat of Avalon at Friendswood Section 2, a private subdivision being 55.57 acres of land containing 123 lots and 12 reserves in 3 blocks out of the Mary Fabro Survey A-69, City of Friendswood, Galveston County, Texas. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Becky, any staff summary?
Yes, sir. So this is going to be, my screen is not moving.
Is it frozen?
I will talk while I'm trying to get this done. This is going to be the north section of Avalon at Friendswood by Taylor Morrison.
Do you want to take a second, Becky, and
Yeah.
resolve that?
Katie, I might need some technical assistance over here.
Katie. So bear with us a second.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
This is like, what, the second meeting in a row with our technical difficulties?
Is it not switched?
Yeah, the screen won't, it's not going to the side.
And then even if you,
That's what I was on. It keeps popping that up. Yeah, it keeps going back and forth. See, if you should have asked IT. Did you turn it off and turn it back on? Yeah, it's moving. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so Avalon at Friendswood, Section 3. This is the preliminary plat of the final section of the Taylor Morrison subdivision that's out on Friendswood Parkway. It's going to be 123 lots. They will build the detention pond in the middle, which I've already seen, and then it's going to make it's a split screen, but it's going to make a triangle around it. And they also turned in their community overlay district landscape plan. Because they are along the Friendswood Parkway, they will be planting trees along that main boulevard. They did it on the south side, and the north side will mirror it.
They did? Mm-hmm. Okay. Commissioner Hinckley?
Between lots 67 to 68, there appears to be a little road. Is that the road that cuts through to the neighboring neighborhood for fire access? I think that was discussed in a prior meeting.
Which block?
Right.
Over here on the
I think
right.
it's just an easement.
No, so there's no connection to the other neighborhood.
Okay, I thought I heard something in a prior discussion about a cut through, but that was my only question.
No,
It's it says it's M, the.
It did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You may be thinking of on the south side, there is a fire access to the lakes of San Joaquin.
Okay,
But
that,
this one will not connect through to West Ranch. They do have two entrances. It's probably easier to see on, it's easier to see on this one. They have a main one going through the middle, and then they've got that little cul-de-sac off down to the right.
okay, I'm good.
Okay. Commissioner Kerner?
I don't have any questions or comments.
Commissioner Mann?
Nothing to add.
Commissioner Clark?
I have nothing. Took me a long time to look at all the reserves, and there were
Right.
little tiny symbols in here, but I found them. So, no, I have no questions.
Okay. Becky, I really just had one question for you, and that is, I assume that you've done the math and looked at it, that this layout meets the PUD requirements that were set up at the beginning of the subdivision's development?
Yes, sir. I think it may be on their sheet too, but there is a table. It's probably in your backup material that shows the different size lots and the count of them, and it does
Right.
comply with their PUD.
That was on one of the drawings as well, but I just was double checking that we made sure it met the PUD. I knew you would have, I just wanted to just make sure we had a record of that.
Yes, sir. We did verify that.
Okay. One of the things I failed to do as going through this is I did not ask if the applicant was here or a representative of the applicant and if they would like to make any comments. So if you would like to, I skipped over you at the beginning, sorry about that, but you could state your name for the record.
Absolutely. Dan Valdez with Meta Planning and Design. I have no comments to make. We agree with all the comments that staff gave us, and we addressed all those changes, and we just asked for your approval on this final section.
Perfect. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Oh.
One more.
Oh, the final plat? No, it's a nice subdivision and it's moving along very quickly on the south side for sure. Okay, if we have no further questions, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Shows to be unanimous. Okay, our second action item is to consider approving the elimination of liaison assignments to various boards and committees by the commission. Do we actually need a motion in a second for this? Should have asked this earlier, but we're gonna, okay. Is there a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay.
That motion and second was to discuss it.
Well, it's to approve the elimination of liaison assignments. It's not in, it was in the discussion topic last one. This one's an action item topic.
But I thought that what we had decided was that this one was we weren't gonna get rid of all of them. We were gonna discuss them.
But that's what we're gonna do now.
Okay, and then not necessarily all or none.
We'll see what
Okay.
we'll see how it goes.
How the discussion goes today, right? Yeah.
Right. Yes, we just open it up. We may have to amend, probably highly likely we might amend but the way it's worded, it covers that broad.
Okay.
But you're right, we will discuss it. Becky, is there anything you wanted to say at this point? Or you want to let me introduce it? It's up to you.
We brought it up last time, and I did tell Mr. Sasson I would send out kind of a cheat sheet of our assignments and which ones are already covered by staff. So that was in y'all's backup material, and we are open to whatever suggestions the commission wants to go with.
And maybe the easy thing too as well, let me just add some of my 2 bits up front. And that is what we've looked at is, as a commission, we meet more than like even city council meets. We meet twice a month. Then we have our subcommittee meetings that are very active and ongoing all the time. And we were looking at the time requirement by everybody on the commission and said, where is it adding value? Quite honestly, making the meetings and making the subcommittee meetings is more important to me than trying to make some of these liaison assignments. It's nice that we get out there. It's not a requirement. The commission can decide to do it or not do it, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. There are some and so I want to prioritize making our regular meetings and our subcommittee meetings over the liaison assignments, where I'm concerned that there's not a lot of value add by us to them, or the communication, as Becky said, there's communication that's occurring independent of whether we're at that meeting or not, because some of the same people, and she sent out the breakdown of that. So again, it's back to adding value and what makes the most sense with our time. For my own personal belief, making city council is the most important thing that we do, but the chair and vice chair, either one or both of us are there for those. Those I want to continue. That's what I'd like to continue. The drainage district is actually, to me, our second priority that we ought to make. What the problem is that they meet twice a month. It's at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it is very tough for people that aren't retired, anybody that's working still, to make those meetings, even sometimes if you're not working any longer. So what I'm going to at least throw out, and again, we're going to discuss this, and this is not just my show, it's what everybody believes, but I'm going to suggest, at least as a temporary step, because of so much overlap between what the drainage district does, the topics that they address versus the topics we address, and we see different pieces of that we would continue to attend that, but we would change rather than, and my suggestion would be, rather than having one person assigned, we would break up those assignments for all of us, would cover those throughout the year, and we would put those on a schedule. And if somebody couldn't make one that was on their schedule, they'd work to find somebody else that could, and not necessarily show up in person. They do allow Zoom. They have people that call in, and maybe we would do it that way. If somebody wants to go, fine. If not, then they would tie in by Zoom or otherwise, because that is supported by the drainage district. The last thing I wanted to say before we get everybody else's opinion is that, if somebody feels strongly about that they want to continue one of their liaison assignments that they currently have, then I'm all for, that they want to put that time in and they think it's valuable, definitely open to that. But, barring that kind of conversation, I really do think we ought to scale back. And it doesn't have to be forever. We can scale back what we're doing to where it makes the most sense, and prioritize, again, meeting twice a month in our subcommittee meetings. So that's my say. Kathy, you're up first.
Well, so we had talked about this previously, right? But my exposure to this is very limited in that it's just really one committee. And I didn't feel like I had value added being there. And I know they didn't really have much value with me there either. I mean, there wasn't any dialogue or opportunity for that. So to me, it made sense, right? If all of them are like my experience, then it didn't make sense to have somebody assigned to do that on a regular basis. Now, if a special topic comes up, then we could certainly send somebody, and I don't think eliminating these assignments precludes that. But to me, it made sense to eliminate these, and again, with just the limited knowledge that I had.
Tom, you're next.
Personally for me, it's the one category I completely feel I failed so far is making these liaison assignments. So, as you mentioned, with everything else, sometimes it just gets hard. That said, I do like attending these other things, and I do want to make a better effort to attend city council too. But necessarily having an assignment where a person has to make it monthly, I could agree with changing that. But I would like to see us as a commission at least try to have somebody at least the more important meetings, correct? So, but like, construction board of adjustments I've been on, but it doesn't meet. So there's things like that too. So I'd be open to a more open approach to it.
Right, more ad hoc as necessary, or if city staff thinks that we should be there because of the topic, then we can do that.
Correct.
Commissioner Clark.
I guess in the length of time I've been on the commission, I've had two primary liaisons, current one with the Drainage District, and before that I think I was ZBOA maybe. And I think we had one meeting in 2 years, and as Kathy said, I didn't see any value either way on that. As far as Drainage District, I find it interesting. I'm not sure. It seems like, as you said, that it's similar to the agenda items we're getting, just kind of out of phase. They're a little earlier on some and a little later on others. but it does feed a better informed sort of complete picture of what's going on in the Friendswood area. So I think it does have some value, and I think you correctly identified the negatives being the twice a month at 8 in the morning. They did have virtual meetings during pandemic time, but they ended that, and then they just picked up on the virtual meetings again like 2 or 3 weeks ago, or two or three meetings ago. And I don't know what the forecast is, whether they're going to continue that or exactly what started them off again. Maybe you had some information about that, but
In just talking to the chair of that they seem like they're going to continue those.
okay. Well, that is a good time to have that kind of a meeting, is be able to just call in. You can do it from the road too. So anyway, I support the initiative. Thanks.
Okay. Commissioner Mann?
I definitely, from what I'm hearing, I have only been to City Council and the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District. So those are the only two that I've been to, and I see value in both of those. So but from what I'm hearing from the other ones, maybe not so much, which was why I initially asked, are we voting on all of them or none of them? And if there is not value added, we should definitely get rid of it as a requirement and go when required or requested.
Right.
But I see such value in the City Council as well as the GCCDD that I think that those should be continued, as well as this past meeting. Chairman Holland said that he really believes that it's important that we are there because there's more to a summary when you get to listen to the entire discussion. And so he really encouraged. He had looked at our agenda, noticed it was on there, and specifically asked me to encourage that we continue to attend. So that's why I think we should split it up. Those that are not required, we should.
Right.
Get rid of.
And if somebody has a better idea of how to split up the drainage district so it makes more sense, I just came up with one thought of just split it amongst all of us, have it on a schedule, and we'd then trade. If somebody can't make it, trade with somebody else when they can. At least try that. I mean, this is not a forever kind of thing. If the topics become more and more applicable, then we'll have to reassess what we do. But at least for current situation, that's what I came up with as a thought. But I'm open. If anybody has a better idea, please.
Two things I wanted to add too, that they are very efficient at their meetings. I think it's nice. They give us an opportunity to speak, and we do cover a lot of the same things, but they are out of phase a little bit.
I'm sorry, are you referring to the drainage
The
district?
drainage
Okay,
district,
thank
yes,
you for clarifying.
very efficient meetings. So I do like that. And the other part I do want to say is I'm very glad this has been brought up, because typically in government we don't get rid of things; we just keep adding things. So I think this is good that we're having this discussion.
As a government employee, I'm shocked you would say that. Sorry.
So what we have is a motion. I mean,
May I amend my motion? Or is that not time yet?
No, it's probably actually that time, unless somebody else. So now I'm waiting to see how you amend it.
So I would like to amend my motion then to recommend that we maintain the city council and the drainage district assignments and consider having a rotational for both so that the entire commission gets exposure to them, but do the assignment on an as available basis for both as opposed to a concrete assignment all the time for an individual, and then the others be ad hoc as needed.
Before we have a second on that, I'd like to at least discuss, and the rotation on the drainage district makes sense. The city council, I won't say I'm required, but it is very helpful that I'm at all those meetings because of the topics that come up that I have to discuss. Now, with that said, we have to worry about, walking quorums and having, but I think, and we have Karen to opine upon it, I think any commissioner at any time can come to those meetings.
Because it's already declared.
City council.
Yeah, because it's already declared an open meet, right, or not? Because the Open Meeting Act applies anyways.
Karen,
it's
is
city
there,
council.
if four of us
Right.
are at a city council meeting just to listen to city council, is that an issue? Is that a concern?
It could be if they're talking about something of which you have authority. Typically, if that's the case, we'd like to go ahead and post that you'll be there, the potential quorum. We do that with city council and different things of that nature as well.
It's never been, it has, in my tenure on the commission and as tenure as chair, it's never been an issue. We've never had more than usually 2, maybe 3 sometimes, but rarely have ever shown up. So I feel strongly that that Rich or I need to be at those city council meetings, and I'm happy to have other people there, but if we made it a rotational thing where I couldn't.
My amendment?
No, it's up to you. What do you think?
Well, no, I have no issue with that, with the chair and the vice chair being the ones assigned to the city council, and then the other one being on an as available basis. And the reason I say as available basis is because I can't do an 8 a.m. twice a month.
Oh, of course, but
Meeting,
could
right.
you do 2 a year if you knew
Maybe.
if you knew in advance? Maybe. Strong maybe? Light maybe? Okay, well. Call in.
Have you seen my calendar?
We understand.
Maybe.
But
Yeah, I don't know.
But-
How to answer.
okay, so with that, with the concern about the city council meetings and the ability for other city council members to show up, and actually everybody's going to get a chance because there's going to be Commissioner Sasson and I are both, we know, going to be out in June at the same time. So I know that's going to come up. We're going to be looking for somebody to sit in for us at that city council meeting in June, I believe. But anyway, so the opportunity is going to be there. But if you would like to amend your motion, it's completely up to you. But
I thought I just did.
do it again if you wouldn't mind for me. Sorry.
Restate my amended motion that we dissolve the assignments with the exception of city council, which will be the chairman and the vice chairman assignments, and the drainage district, which would be on an as available basis. And we would determine prior to the meeting who would be the representative at that particular meeting.
I think we can make that work. I believe it gets us there.
And the others, all of the others, as needed or as available. I mean, just as needed.
Oh, okay.
So if somebody
Ad hoc.
asks us to.
Yes, perfect.
To attend, then we would attend, but otherwise,
Now I understand.
sorry.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Shows to be unanimous. Thanks, everybody. Okay, our final agenda topic is communications, and we will start with announcing the upcoming Planning and Zoning Commission meeting dates. Becky?
Yes, sir. So our next 2 regular meetings are going to be Thursday, May 12th and Thursday, May 26th. So if anybody's going to be out of town, let us know as usual, and we'll make sure we have a quorum for all of our meetings.
No, and it's been great that we've had so many commissioners make so many meetings. It's great. We'll continue our communications with updates from the commissioners. Commissioner Clark?
I have no updates as I was gone for the most recent meeting that occurred in the drainage district. I did respond to the city secretary request for my intentions regarding my commissioner tour of duty and have decided to step down, which I believe will be effective in June. So at the end of June, I think.
End of June, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, end of June. So I did want to announce that. Thanks.
Tom?
Trying to get it on.
Oh, gotcha.
Hate to see it go, Commissioner Clark, but congratulations on your newest member. So we will have a subcommittee meeting next Monday. So we'll try to get those more regular. So that's it.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Mann?
I did attend the GCCDD, the last one. They had a couple votes that didn't necessarily affect us. They did talk about the Avalon that we just talked about, and they were good with that as well, as we always hear from here. And then, as I mentioned, they strongly encourage that we continue to make the meetings. Other than that, nothing else to report.
Commissioner Kerner?
Just want to say thank you to Commissioner Clark for his service to the commission and to the city, and we will certainly miss you.
Absolutely. I wanted to echo that as well. I can't say it any better than Kathy did, but thank you for all your help and wise counsel all these years. So thank you so much. And you know, you got a couple more meetings, so look forward. But you have.
I'll make all the rest actually.
All right. Good. So in that light as well, we are starting the interview process. We're kicking that off shortly to replace Commissioner Clark, and we have a handful of good candidates that are out there, and we'll start that interview process. So from that, we'll move Council Member Hanks. You have any comments or any communication?
Nothing really new since last couple of weeks when y'all met, but I do want to echo my thanks and thanks on behalf of all the city council and staff for your service. How many years, Commissioner Clark? 5 years of meeting twice a month on a volunteer basis and not always making people happy. I don't know if you're Catholic and would be up for sainthood, but we certainly thank you for that. It's been a great, you've lent a really solid, reasonable voice, and thank you very much for that. Elections, we're in the early voting process, and we have a city council meeting Monday. The agenda will be posted for the public tomorrow, and you'll see some of the items that y'all have discussed and that we're ready to vote on. And thank you, and congratulations on your senior. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Becky, anything?
No, sir.
Karen, anything? Okay, I think that the April 28th, 2022 Planning and Zoning regular meeting is now adjourned. Thanks, everybody.